Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, once said, "No goal is too high if we climb with care and confidence." Consumers have seen this idea in action with Cathy's entrepreneurial venture of opening Chick-fil-A. Now, one of the highest profiting fast food restaurants in America, Chick-fil-A started out as a merely family-owned business in a shopping mall. Since Chick-fil-A's first opening in 1967, they have consistently grown year after year, totaling more than 50 consecutive years of sales growth, and as of 2019, $11 billion while only having 2,500 locations. Some quick math: $11 billion divided by 2,500 locations means they sold about $4.4 million at each one. That average is higher than McDonald's or Starbucks, considering they are both higher in Chick-fil-A in both sales and stores. Leading on to our recent performances, despite the coronavirus pandemic, Chick-fil-A reported record revenues in 2020 amounting to $4.3 billion and an increase of $500 million from the previous year, as provided from our chart. This is because online food ordering and delivery platforms such as Uber Eats and DoorDash, with the addition of quarantine orders, many consumers were obliged to stay indoors, which caused their revenue to grow. Restrictive safety measures, including closing the dining area, wearing protective gear, and consistent sanitation practices, made Chick-fil-A climb up during the COVID-19 pandemic. This leads us into our brand positioning statement. To serve fast food consumers wanting higher quality chicken, Chick-fil-A is a premium fast food brand that specializes in delivering high quality chicken and high quality customer service at a fair price.
All right, moving on to our SWOT analysis of Chick-fil-A. We found that Chick-fil-A has three main strengths that everything seems to fit underneath, those being their service, quality, and their consistency. Chick-fil-A is well known for always having friendly employees who are always willing to go above and beyond for their customers. Chick-fil-A takes pride in the quality of their food and understand it makes a huge difference compared to other fast food companies. Lastly, no matter the location, the food and the service is always going to be the same, keeping them super consistent. It was very difficult to find weaknesses throughout Chick-fil-A. The primary issue with Chick-fil-A is that they have a pretty poor geographic coverage, which is really limiting them in the long run. Chick-fil-A is primarily located in the US and hasn't ever given foreign markets an opportunity. Lastly, they're closed on Sundays. There's not really much that can be done about this. It's part of their beliefs, and it kind of is what it is. Moving on to threats and opportunities, Chick-fil-A has many opportunities to grow moving forward. One of them being to expand to new markets around the globe and primarily targeting BRIC countries and other new locations around the United States. The other opportunity that can be presented is to extend their hours later into the night to allow for more late night sales, which has proven to be successful in companies like McDonald's and In-N-Out. Another opportunity is to expand their menu carrying seasonal items like spicy nuggets and spicy chicken strips. And the last opportunity is to take advantage of celebrity and influencer marketing, which is super big right now. Moving on to threats, there are a few threats that Chick-fil-A needs to be aware of. The first being competition. This threat is always going to be there. People need to eat. There's always going to be other restaurants. There's not much that can be done about that one. Supply chain issues. They use a lot of raw materials. So if they run into supply chain issues, that means their price is going to increase because demand is going to increase. And lastly, their opinions of the company's views. The threat could escalate into something much worse than it is, but it seems like most people, whether they agree with their beliefs or not, they're still buying their product, so it isn't affecting them too harshly here in the long run. Moving on to Chick-fil-A's marketing mix, we'll be discussing product, place, price, and promotion. Starting with product, Chick-fil-A is a fast food restaurant, but never fails to ensure that their food is fresh and high quality. They offer a centralized menu, which makes deciding very easy, but also offers a variety of side options for other groups. Chick-fil-A currently has 2,774 locations. They're a franchisable restaurant, which allows them to be competitive to other restaurants because they will be able to cover more areas if those different franchises are ever sold. Lastly, Chick-fil-A offers a delivery service, which allows them to cover a lot more broad areas and allows them to hit places where their brick and mortar restaurants cannot. Moving on to promotion, Chick-fil-A takes advantage of digital media when promoting their name and products to new and existing customers. They are using sponsorship deals, advertisements, and different commercials across all social media platforms as well as on TV. Lastly, Chick-fil-A caters to different events, which is very smart because they are able to get in front of new faces and hit other locations that they wouldn't necessarily be able to hit with their brick and mortar stores at events. And so they're able to get in front of a lot more people face to face, which is going to help them grow in the long run organically. Now for price, Chick-fil-A's price compares to other competitors with higher service. Chick-fil-A brands themselves as premium quality fast food. And comparing their prices to well-known competitors like McDonald's, you'll notice that Chick-fil-A's prices are a little bit higher, but not by much. The reason for this is because if you're paying for quality, it's going to cost a little bit more, which in the end is usually worth it. Here's a graph comparing other fast food restaurants' ad spend in 2020. You'll notice that Chick-fil-A is sitting at the mid to low range of these restaurants, which is a great position to be in given how much sales they do in a year. This means that most of their sales are organic, which is the best way to be because it's less advertising for yourself and it saves you money in the end. This is also a great spot for our promotional plan, which Mark is going to talk about in our short-term plan.
Thank you, Jackson. My name is Mark. I'm going to be presenting the short-term marketing plan, which is going to be the introduction of a new product, Spicy Chick-fil-A Nuggets. Spicy Chick-fil-A Nuggets will offer Chick-fil-A the opportunity to expand their current menu selection, as earlier identified as an opportunity in our SWOT analysis. Currently, Chick-fil-A offers the spicy chicken sandwich, which is in high demand and very successful to them, but they don't offer nuggets, and that is what we propose today. We've analyzed a 4% price upcharge compared to the regular nuggets, and this 4% was calculated from taking the difference in pricing of the current spicy chicken sandwich and the regular chicken sandwich, and we've applied that 4% in the pricing for our spicy nuggets. We believe that this is relevant to Chick-fil-A because they can leverage any costs that they incur from introducing this new item to the menu. We believe that spicy chicken nuggets would be competitive to the current market, being that Burger King currently offers their ghost pepper nuggets, Popeyes offers spicy chicken sandwiches, and Wendy's offers spicy nuggets. We believe that this high demand can take me into the next slide, being that spicy menu items is currently in demand. Changing the product aspect of the marketing mix will allow for the introduction of a new product. Implementation in less than 6 months is realistic for Chick-fil-A, being that the ingredients are readily available now. This will act as a catalyst to expand business for Chick-fil-A while attracting new customers and also retaining their current customers in offering a wider range in selection. Some internal factors worth considering. First and foremost, we want to start off with the recipe. Using the same recipe as their spicy chicken sandwich, such as the batter and marinade, Chick-fil-A will be able to use less time and less effort in developing their new recipe. Their new recipe is going to include the same batter and the same marinade, using the same processes with their current chicken nuggets and their spicy chicken sandwich. A conflict and concern that we want to address is the transportation conflict. This is important because low storage and refrigeration space in the trucks offers the issue of how are we going to transport new item in the menu on these trucks. We want to solve this issue and propose the solution of creating more efficient truck routes. These efficient truck routes are going to be targeting the Chick-fil-A stores that are most closely located in geographic location to the warehouses that are shipping these trucks out with the refrigerators with the food. Also, having larger trucks carry larger loads per store will help those stores keep up with demand for the new menu item, which will solve the issue of more frequent restocking. Proper supply chain management makes it easier to produce these nuggets for our consumers. Execution of the promotion plan will occur by utilizing popular celebrity image Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is currently a comedic genius, and utilizing his image with the growing celebrity ad culture is important because earlier it was identified as an opportunity in our SWOT analysis. Comedically oversized nuggets and comedically short Kevin Hart will provide the perfect elements for a short commercial in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl being an event that takes place in America with millions and millions watching at home. The Super Bowl will cost about $5.6 million to Chick-fil-A, as well as the celebrity spending being $2 to $3 million of the upper limit. And after it's shown on the Super Bowl, we will recycle the commercial and show it on national television, as well as YouTube, which is a huge social media platform that gains a lot of views. And we estimate about 10 million views for our ad showing on YouTube videos. And it will cost about 10 cents to 30 cents with an average of 20 cents per view. This takes me into my next slide where I'll be analyzing the break-even point of how many chicken nugget meals we would have to sell in order to break even at our current price points and our current promotion costs. Currently, we analyze the 8-count meal to sell at $6.19 and the 12-count to sell at $8.94. We analyze these costs by applying that 4% price increase to the meals compared to our regular chicken nugget meal. Production costs are analyzed at about 30% per meal, because that's generally what calculations are for price points. So it costs Chick-fil-A about $1.79 to produce the 8-count and $2.57 to produce the 12-count. With subtracting the production costs from the revenue per meal, we analyze a contributed margin, and dividing that contributed margin from the $9 million promotion costs, we analyze that the break-even point will be 1.6 million meals across 2,700 stores, as earlier emphasized. This is achievable for Chick-fil-A in just under 2 weeks to break even. Thank you.
Next, we will be introducing our long-term marketing plan. We have decided to penetrate Japan's fast food industry. There's an inherent challenge when entering a new market, especially one so vastly different from North America. However, we've taken some time to make sure this plan is realistic and justifiable. Japan happens to be the top destination for non-North American food. Similarly, KFC and McDonald's are both currently experiencing top successes in this market. We will be using these companies as a benchmark to measure our success in Japan. Localization is our first step to ensure Chick-fil-A successfully penetrates this market. Japanese food culture is quite different from that of the United States. So when selling our product, we want to adjust to fall in line with Japan's tastes. Menus across American fast food franchises incorporate Japanese culture staple foods. We have chosen to incorporate some of these local tastes within our menus. These items will include a teriyaki chicken sandwich, an addition of QP mayo on select items, and finally, an addition of miso soup to our soup selection. These additions will modify select food items at Japan locations to fit the taste of a different culture while maintaining a Chick-fil-A brand product. Our entrance to this market will start with 116 new Chick-fil-A stores in major cities such as Tokyo, Yokohama, and Osaka. We estimate the total cost based on land price and stores to be $382,800,000. This cost will be a realistic goal and can be further justified through quantitative justification later in this presentation. The meal range for Japan stores are correlated to that of pricing in North America, as well as measured against competitors in the region. Our meals will range from around 700 to 1,050 yen, which is similar in price to that of North American chains, while keeping a competitive margin to our competitor. When expanding to a new market, we will be altering place within our marketing mix. We will be expanding our coverage into Japan and, even more importantly, outside of North America. This will be the first currently operating Chick-fil-A expansion outside of North America. We have chosen Japan for several reasons. Reason number one being the top successes of fast food chains such as McDonald's and KFC. Both of these companies have included localized menu items within their products such as seafood, rice, and vegetables. As we enter into this new market, we will do the same. Fried chicken already happens to be a major food item amongst the Japanese population. And with our addition of teriyaki sauce, mayonnaise, and additional soup items, we believe entering this market with a culture incorporated menu will be successful. Our promotion plan for the region will emphasize a friendly competition with KFC and establish our brand in the region. This promotion will include large advertisements, billboards, signs, etc., with cows spray painting or vandalizing Colonel Sanders. A play with the wording Chick-fil-A rules while avoiding the explicit use of the KFC name. This will be a humoristic approach to addressing KFC as a friendly competitor while grabbing the attention of new consumers.
Expanding a business is always a risky decision. Taking a big risk, such as expanding a business and moving overseas, is incredibly foolish without the research, the plan, and the numbers to back it up. On this slide, we decided to compare KFC and the numbers that they have been making in Japan versus how we expect Chick-fil-A expanding into Japan to affect those numbers. We think that this is a good person to benchmark against because KFC is wildly popular in Japan. KFC is much more popular in Japan than it is in North America, and they have 1,165 KFCs in Japan. We decided that a good goal would be to open 10% of the total number of stores that KFC has within our 5-year goal. That would mean that we would want to open 116 Chick-fil-A's within the 5 years. On the left-hand side here, we can see the income statement for KFC in Japan, where it lists the revenue, the cost of revenue, the gross profit, the operating income, the income before taxes, and the net income in millions of the KFC stores in Japan. What we then did was take 10%, we multiplied each of those by 0.10, and we found the amount of what a good benchmark would be for the 10% of stores that we open. We then multiplied each of those. We then put out a survey on our social medias to see who preferred KFC, Chick-fil-A, or McDonald's. McDonald's is another large and highly successful fast food franchise in Japan. KFC and McDonald's are by far the most successful and most highly profitable of American franchises that have expanded to Japan. After we put the survey out, we saw that about 84% of people, of the over 400 people surveyed, preferred Chick-fil-A the most. The second highest option was McDonald's with 12%, and the lowest option was KFC with 4%. We recognize that this isn't a perfect measure because KFC is so much more popular in Japan, but it gave us a good idea of what we could maybe expect and gave us some numbers that we could use to predict where Chick-fil-A would be at in the future. So after we took this, the left-hand column, and multiplied it by 10%, we then multiplied it by 84 to see the amount that Chick-fil-A would capture from KFC, because Chick-fil-A has no stores existing in Japan currently. Since they have no stores existing in Japan currently, we expected them to, we can't expect them to capture the full 84%, but again, it gives us a good idea of where we're at. So we took that 84% times by the 10% of the original number, and we got a much smaller number of what we could expect Chick-fil-A to capture. We then subtracted that number from KFC's original numbers to find what we could expect their new adjusted numbers to be. So we can see that in each category they decrease, and it's a sizable decrease, like their revenue decreases from 852 million to 780 million. But we think this is a pretty reasonable thing of where we could be in 5 years. On the next slide, we see what Chick-fil-A's expected costs and revenues would be. These were calculated by that 84% that we multiplied by that 10% value. Again, this is not perfect because this would be the amount of this is the amount of revenue that KFC is losing to Chick-fil-A, not necessarily the amount that Chick-fil-A has. And since KFC and Chick-fil-A profit margins might be a little different, this number may not be perfect, but it's a good estimate, especially since Chick-fil-A is a private company and it's hard to find a lot of their data. However, the pricing for a KFC meal is nearly identical to the pricing in the United States. And so we would be able to keep the pricing just converted to yen, about 600 to 700 yen for most combo meals of the Chick-fil-A. And so we can expect our change in revenue to not be that high. We expect great success as we move Chick-fil-A forward in the future with the expansion of both the menu and the expansion of